It's finally up. The game is live. Okay, first, quick disclaimer. Firekeep, pretty early in development, and I really do want to involve the community as much as I can. But to do that, I'm going to have to talk about design stuff and options that might not get picked, might not get chosen, might be really good, but because of time, because of budget, because I'm only one guy, may not make it in the game. And even if I talk about something here, there's no guarantee that it will eventually get in game just because stuff happens. But I will do my best, and I promise you to try and explain myself as much as possible about the decisions that I do make and the options that I do choose. And I will keep doing these and try and be as open as possible with you guys, as long as the discussion is constructive and people seem to be getting stuff out of it. Cool? Cool. All right, back to it. So the launch was rough. Essentially, I'd been building the game around the demo that I'd had up on Steam for a while, and just assumed that if I can do it once for the demo, set up a level, play the level, take it down one time, no problem. I can do it as many times as I want. I'll just do setup level. Come on, it's just that easy. So I figured I'd just throw in this quick little progression system, kind of like the Constellation. Just pick a new map, set up a new map, good to go, no problem, no mess, no fuss. This led to a lot of stability issues at launch. Basically, it wasn't checking to make sure stuff that needed to be there was there. It wasn't checking the stuff that shouldn't be there, had been put away, all sorts of stuff. If you were there, if you were here for the launch, thank you so much for sticking with me. And if you weren't there, it's probably for the best. It ended up being 2 weeks of long, frantic nights, just getting to the game to the point where it would save and load reliably, it would set up stuff reliably. And then I ran a marathon. No, seriously. I ran the Toronto Marathon. And my family made look at this sign. Look at this. Branding. Wow. I slept a whole bunch, but now we're back. And we are talking about atmosphere. But seriously. The atmosphere mechanic in the game, not wow, this is very smoky. Oh my god. Here's how the atmosphere mechanic kind of currently works. Essentially, we've got these rings of atmosphere, and basically all around here, it will, if the atmosphere is increasing, like we've got more blue bubbles than smog bubbles. There we go. It will just pick one of these tiles at random, and then it will just kind of show this little like kind of cutout thing that goes up and down. It's tough to see. It's very subtle, but eventually it will kind of fill up all this ring and then move on to the next one. The current system kind of sucks for three main reasons. The first one is that it just checks. It takes a snapshot when it checks. I think it's like maybe 5 seconds, something like that. It just checks and says, are we positive? Are we negative? And then either adds or subtracts an atmosphere unit. It doesn't matter how long you've been positive or how long you've been negative. Right then in that second is the only time that matters. So you can't build up like a surplus. You can't kind of offset like a local negative. If you just cut down a tree and you've gone negative, guess what? You're losing an atmo tile. The second one is that there's also no proportionality, which is to say that if you are +1 atmosphere or plus 100 atmosphere, it still grows at the same rate, still shrinks at the same rate. There's no benefit to, being super environmentally friendly. There's no penalty for becoming Smog City. Finally, it's random. If you need atmosphere on one specific tile, you could end up waiting for it to fill in the entire ring. And likewise, if, it takes at random, so it could just absolutely mess up your plans totally randomly, and then you're kind of hooped. So here's a quick design fix that I'm trying out right now. First and foremost, there is over here a little timer that just shows you, how close you are to gaining or losing atmosphere, make it a little more transparent. And then also you're going to see I'm playing with making it a whole ring. It's more noticeable. It's easier to plan around. It is potentially, tougher when it contracts a whole ring because you could lose all of your outer buildings. But just playing with the design to see where we can just make it easier to plan around and better, feeling for the player, maybe even create a little more challenge because, if you mess up, it's more punishing, stuff like that. No promises this will be how it is in the final game. Also, we probably will get, community feedback on this one to see how it feels to play and, where the right balance is on speed. I've sped it up for this. You're getting, this is pretty fast, but, waiting around for those rings versus, being punished for losing them, still up in the air. It needs a lot of kind of design fine tuning and tweaking. We also got to address a pretty fundamental, not a problem, but definitely a challenge to overcome with regards to island size. Here's a quick and dirty little diagram that doesn't look great, but I just threw it together. It's showing basically the number of resources, regardless of type, that you need to complete the game. You need to upgrade the center twice. It takes 2 to upgrade it the first time, and then 4, and then 4. And then in order to do that, you need 2 villages, and I think the most efficient way is to go for the entertainment and the advanced resources, because the meeting place just gives you the entertainment for free. And then the advanced resources can come from a stone cutter, which comes from a quarry. But basically you need this configuration. And then to get these buildings to where they are, the average building, I believe, gives 2.5 resources. So these 2 villages only need to be next to any 2 tiles. So you can build a garden and a quarry or a mine or something like that beside each. So really what we get is very quickly this map is all you need. This is trivial. Assuming again, no atmosphere, all that sort of stuff, just 2 resources. These are all the tiles you need. However, this is very difficult. I was gonna say nearly impossible. I'm sure there is configurations that could work, but as soon as you kind of lose these little 3 tile groups, the game becomes very difficult. And so really it's not a big map or a small map problem. It's just that the kind of band of challenging of a good map is so small that, if you go too big, you're like, wow, this is trivial. And if you go too small, it's very quickly impossible. So I think what the answer actually is that I need to give the player tools to be able to handle this, I think. So what's next? First of all, oxygen fixed, atmosphere fixed, just make it easier to kind of plan around, that sort of thing. Secondly, dealing with just generator randomness, having little islands, offshoot islands, missing tiles. The platforms special project from the October Next Fest demo is going to be coming back. If you didn't play that one, it was basically just a project that you could drag onto empty tiles, and then it made a platform. You could build stuff there. Trying to get it working with the current island generation and decorations is tough, but it is coming back. I think there's a second part though, those 2 systems need to be paired with something that makes you, want to branch out or better able to branch out, because right now the best strategy is just to stay around the 2 inner circles. There's been a lot of really good suggestions in the Discord. I think right now I am leaning towards kind of a marketplace or a trade network building that would let you exchange resources between the same type of buildings, so they wouldn't have to be adjacent. You could put a resource into one and then take it out from another one somewhere else. I am just biased mostly towards using as much of the existing mechanics as possible to solve this one. One, it fits with what I've already got going for the game, and 2, it's easier to implement something that I've already built as opposed to starting from scratch. Again, if you want to get involved or you have any suggestions though, check out our Discord. It's the best place to do it. Apart from that, still going to be in design mode for the next couple weeks before start ramping up on new content, just to see how these changes affect the whole game. Hopefully by the time this video is up, there's some interesting stuff for you guys to test out and try out and give feedback on, but that's just my thoughts on what's going on and what needs to happen and how I can make this game the best game it can be. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.